everybody. Are you guys ready to go? I think they are for this top 25 matchup between Seton Hall and Texas in the Big East Big 12 battle. A sellout crowd is awaiting this one. Two teams with just one loss apiece, and what a matchup here tonight, everybody. It's great to have you for Big East Shootaround. I am John Fanta, and coming up on this evening's show, we have CBS Sports Insider John Rothstein checking in with the latest news and notes around the Big East. Plus, former Seton Hall big man Michael Nzei will join me to break down how the Pirates have evolved as a program and what's led to their sustainability. But we begin with the headlines. And with our headlines inside the Prudential Center, you think about what is happening inside this building tonight, a big one. You're talking about Seton Hall, you're talking about Texas, and you're talking about a league in the Big East that has been able to get off to such a strong start to the season. You think about the wins this week that we've seen already, with Marquette going on the road last night to beat Kansas State, with Butler going to Oklahoma and beating the Sooners. Several statements, but tonight a Texas team that comes in here under first-year head coach Chris Beard, and a Texas team that is loaded with depth. They have had 6 different players lead them in scoring in a game this season, and they come to the Prudential Center tonight in a matchup of 2 of the best defensive teams in America. 2 teams that are in the top 35 of KenPom defense, 2 teams that know how to put stops together, and 2 teams that are interchangeable in the way that they can score the basketball. Make no mistake about it, Seton Hall's going to need Jared Rhoden to be the one who stirs the drink for the Pirates here tonight. He's averaging around 17 points per game. Let's look at those headlines. Starting with number 1, building a resume. You see the Big East Conference and the record that this league's been able to put up thus far this season. It is impressive. Just those 21 losses combined between teams. And you know what stands out to me? When your league, the teams picked down at the bottom of the conference, are racking up quality wins. What you never want to have in your league is to have a clear bottom where if you suffer a loss to one of those teams, it greatly damages your NCAA tournament resume. And right now in the Big East Conference, we are seeing a depth. We're seeing a balance to this league thus far. We knew that Villanova and Connecticut would be right near the top of this league, if not the top 2 teams. But the Big East has shown that it's more than just those 2. This Seton Hall team getting off to their best start in 4 years at 7-1. The Providence Friars are 9-1 on the season. Ed Cooley has worked wonders with a team that's filled with some impact transfers. And the Marquette Golden Eagles have an identity, they have a DNA, and they have a real style. And that leads us, as the Longhorns come onto the floor here at the Prudential Center, this 6-1 Texas team coming to the Rock tonight, to headline number 2. Headline number 2 is 2 teams racking up critical road wins this week. We begin with Butler, a 66-62 win over Oklahoma, 66-62. We actually have a couple of Oklahoma Sooner fans here tonight. Nice jersey tonight. What went into that selection?
You know, I'm an Oklahoma fan, and I hate Texas, so I had to bring it out. I got the golden cowboy hat because it belongs to Oklahoma right now. I'm here for Seton Hall, though. Go Pirates.
All right, I like the... Give him a round of applause for his energy. Fantastically done. I like that there. He's got the Baker Mayfield jersey going on. I am fully supportive of that. But headline number 2, Marquette, Butler, big road wins. Headline number 3, a top 6 showdown awaits on Sunday afternoon when number 2 Baylor welcomes in number 6 Villanova. Villanova coming off a win over Syracuse in which the Wildcats took 53 pointers. They only hit 13 of them, but it just shows Villanova's able to win that game by double digits. This will be a big test against Baylor's length, against Baylor's guards, L.J. Cryer, Adam Flagler. How about the Georgetown, then Arizona transfer, James Akinjo. Colin Gillespie, Justin Moore and company meet the Bears on Sunday afternoon on ABC. Let's look at the leader of this Seton Hall team, though, averaging right around 17 points per game. He's the man who charges this program this season. That is senior Jared Rhoden. And here's a special feature on him. On a beautiful day in South Orange, we are with the Seton Hall Pirates star, the All-Big East first-team preseason selection, the senior, Jared Rhoden. We're out in front of the Pirates statue. We're here on this campus. What makes this place special?
This place is special just because, you know, when you walk around this campus, first of all, it looks beautiful. It's not that big, and you get a sense of home. You just feel real comfortable walking around.
Getting your thoughts on this year's team. We were just talking before this interview about last year.
Right.
Felt like you were either one play, one possession, maybe one win away.
Yeah.
How did that serve as an igniter to your offseason, to gearing up for this campaign?
Well, man, John, I'll tell you, it was like last year I think we lost 5 straight, which kind of derailed us from, you know, having the opportunity to make it to the NCAA tournament. And, you know, obviously we had the opportunity to play in the Big East tournament where, you know, we lost to Georgetown. But, you know, it was just motivation. You know, it was an opportunity for us to say, okay, you know, for me individually to say, okay, I have another year to come back and put on a Seton Hall uniform. And it's just a blessing to be able to be here, have another year to be coached by Coach Willard and an amazing coaching staff. So, you know, I'm just blessed and thankful to have another opportunity.
One thing that stands out to me that's been written a couple times, and you've said it too, you are ready.
Absolutely.
Ready for being that A guy on this team, the lead man.
Yeah.
Tell me about the process of getting ready for being in that role for this team.
Well, you know, I feel like I've been molded my whole time being here. You know, I've had the opportunity to have firsthand insight on dudes like Miles Powell and Sandra Mamukelishvili, and, you know, seeing their work ethic and seeing how they develop their leadership qualities over the years, and just, you know, taking little things from them. And, you know, now finally being a senior, having that firsthand and having that more of a voice on this team is something I'm really looking forward to.
Looking at this team, you talked about the chemistry of the group.
Yeah.
How much differently can you play, though, with the combinations of guys that you have?
Well, man, for starters, I think at a guard position, we have a 6'6" point guard who can play defense, which is amazing. And I think if you say if our front line is in a rotation at one point could be me, Kadari, and Miles Kale, all 6'6", I think that's quite amazing.
Yeah. And
it's quite dynamic in that in itself. And if you look on throughout our roster, we just have a lot of stretch foremen that can dribble and shoot the ball. We still have Ike Biago, probably one of the best shot blockers in the country. And I just feel like we're so dynamic, and we have such a deep team with people that can do different skills, that have so much skill sets.
Now as a senior, how much do you look at that legacy factor of finishing out with a bang and making it back to the big dance and doing what this program has done in that new standard of Seton Hall's going to be a tournament type of team?
Well, I feel like that's probably the most important thing that I think about every day.
Yeah.
Trying to get back on that track. You know, last year we derailed off of it, and I think that this year we'll definitely be back there. And as a senior, it means the most to me because, you know, it's probably my last year being here on this campus, you know, putting on a Seton Hall uniform, playing with these dudes, and I think you have to live out that legacy.
When people think of you, what do they want? What do you want them to think of?
I just want them to remember someone that's, you know, someone that's caring, someone that's a leader, someone that brought it every day, and that's what I try to have resonate with people, is that, you know, I'm a hardworking dude, and I'm gonna bring it every single day, and I never took a day off, and that's what I take pride in.
Jared Rhoden, we look forward to seeing it. Good luck this year.
Thank you, John.
We welcome you to Manhattan and the Big East tournament.
Here at the Garden, decibel levels will be high.
This is going to be a good one, folks. 2 Big East powers.
You gotta be strong.
And that will do it. The Musketeers.
How about that?
And the jam.
Welcome back to Shootaround at the Prudential Center. We are live ahead of a key top 25 showdown, the Big East Big 12 battle between Texas and Seton Hall. And we're joined by a former Pirate himself, Michael Nzei. He played for the Pirates from 2014 to 2019, was part of that 2016 Big East Tournament Championship team. And Mike, great to have you with us here this evening. This Seton Hall team is 7-1 on the season. Their best start in 4 years. How has this group achieved success this year?
There's a lot of reasons we've achieved success this year, but I'm going to start with the depth of the team. We have a deep bench. We have a lot of experienced guys on the team. We have a bunch of 5-year guys, and we have Moscow who came back for the 5th year. We have Bryce Aiken who's here for the 5th year. So just with having these players with a lot of experience and the coaching staff that we have, I think this is a great tool to have to be able to achieve success. And one thing about this team that I really love is the fact that every time we share the ball, we end up with a win. So I feel like every game we've had more than 10 assists, we end up with a win.
Yeah, the assists were actually in an area early in the season that weren't up, but they've steadily climbed here, and Kadari Richmond, the Syracuse transfer, a big reason for it. Let's go down in the paint.
Okay.
And Grant Billmeyer, a Seton Hall alum himself, is really in charge of the post players. And you played under Grant with development drills, with all those one-on-ones. What goes into Grant Billmeyer's ability to develop big men?
So, one thing you got to know about Grant, he's a Seton Hall guy. He's always been a Seton Hall guy. He played here, so he understands the program. One thing he shows to his player is the love, the dedication. Grant is that guy that would ask you, what are you doing on a Saturday? And once you tell him nothing, his response will be, meet me in the gym at 10 a.m. So if you got a coach who's always getting you in the gym, there's always a chance for you to excel. You know, so I give a lot of credit to Grant.
Well, that's one big thing with this Seton Hall team is Iko Biagu. You come in as a transfer like Alexis Yetna. You talk about a Tyree Samuel who now is in his junior season. There is real development. Trey Jackson even is a different guy than what he was when he first came into the program last year.
I'm telling you, Grant is that guy that brings a lot of energy. And once you come into this program as a big man, during workouts, during practice, you have to bring the energy. And bringing the energy and going tough on defense in practice is going to transfer right into the game.
Jared Rhoden, you know him.
Yep.
You've been in practice with the guy. What is it about Jared Rhoden specifically that makes him a special player?
I'm going to tell you a quick story about Jared Rhoden.
Okay.
Freshman year, we lost the game, and everybody was sad. Came back on the bus, went to our room. I went on Instagram. I saw this kid at the gym at 11 p.m. at night. Guess what? As the captain of the team, I was pretty sad in bed thinking about what I'm gonna do. I saw this freshman in the gym. Guess what I told myself? I know what to do. I went in the gym and saw these 5 other guys, and his spirit brought us all into the gym that night.
Wow.
And it was 6 of us out there working out. He's the guy that will give you 120%.
Wow.
He's the guy that's humble, that's always gonna, his teammates love him, because he's always gonna give you his best every single time. So that's one thing I need people to know about Jared Rhoden. He's a hard worker.
All right, let's talk about this guy's career here. A lot of moments, a lot of wins, consistency. Your favorite moment out of all those moments, your moment or two that come to mind, tell me what comes to mind.
So I would start with the first one. I feel like the Miami game in California, the final game.
Wooden Legacy.
That game, it was significant to me because I went 8 for 8 from like the field. So it was like the best game I've ever had as a Pirate. And my senior game would easily be my biggest game and like my most treasured game on this campus. Why? Because the fans came out. It was a game where we needed to win to make it to the NCAA. And I promise you, 2 days before that game, the tickets were sold out.
Yeah.
We had all the fans here ready to cheer us out, and we were able to come out victorious. And I give all credit to the fans, because without the fans, we would have never done it. And I can never forget that game. Senior night, super emotional night for me. Had a standing ovation, and that kept me going.
What is this building going to be like tonight?
It's going to be a big game, and you know, Pirate fans love to show up. It's going to be packed. I heard it's already sold out, and it's going to be a lot of blue shirts in the building ready to cheer the boys. It's going to be loud because, you know, The students have been great. They've been coming out in large numbers. And as you can see, it's a lot of them here tonight. So it's going to be really, really loud here tonight.
Michael Nzei, great to catch up with you.
Great to catch up with you, John.
That's the former Seton Hall big man, Michael Nzei. Now we turn from that to this Saturday crosstown shootout, Xavier and Cincinnati. It really doesn't need any more of a caption than that. And this week, premiering across Cincinnati local TV and soon to your social media platforms, is a brand new special on this rivalry. The crosstown shootout, Mick and Mac, the epic brawl, and how a rivalry has preserved in the Queen City. In Cincinnati, Ohio, with a population of just over 300,000, there is one weekend a year that is unlike any other, where camping takes place. And the folks come out in droves for a rivalry that stands in a class of its own.
Maybe the best day of my year, honestly. I'm so lucky to be able to broadcast this rivalry. It is the best intra-city rivalry in college basketball.
Intensity, that's what college basketball is all about.
Familiarity. They didn't like us, we didn't like them.
It's really important to the fabric of our community. It's one of the main sporting events of the year. Buckle up, it's going to be intense. Maybe there's a big shot and one of those magical moments that you know it's going to end up getting talked about for the next 50 years.
I don't know that you can put a finger on it or define it in a perfect way. I think there's just a familiarity between the players when you're growing up and you start going to the playground and you play against all of your buddies and you want to flex that you're a better player or that you have the better team.
Everywhere you went, people picked a side.
That proximity is a big factor into the way that you approach that game. And you can feel it from the fans, you can feel it from the players. I think there's just always a measuring stick to your rival, and you want to have a better recruiting class, you want to have a better coach, you want to have a better scheme. And in that one game, you get to play your rival every year. You don't want to just beat them, you want to embarrass them. It is the one game that you star, year in and year out.
When I got on campus, the first question was, are you guys going to beat UC? Not, you going to go to the NCAA tournament, or you going to win a league championship? Are you going to beat UC? That's what it was about. My heart beats a little bit quicker before the game, and I want to win that game so bad.
It's exactly what you would want from two schools that are rivals that are just 3 miles apart. Bragging rights are on the line, and it means so much to the schools. There's a certain fervor that goes with it that you don't see in other rivalry games.
I can't wait to that date every year. It is an unbelievably electric atmosphere every single time.
I had covered a couple of Texas-Oklahoma football games. That's what it initially reminded me of. I'm back watching Texas OU again.
And these fan bases are really what drive this rivalry. The players don't show up at Cincinnati and Xavier despising each other. They are taught to have that good-natured dislike. That's really what separates this rivalry from all the other great rivalries in college basketball.
Okay. Here's where you can check out the documentary on the crosstown shootout. Xavier in Cincinnati will obviously meet Saturday night on FS1, but you can check it out on your local Cincinnati affiliates, Valley Sports, of course, and right on social media coming soon, as in this weekend. We are now joined by the Insider's Insider from CBS Sports. It is John Rothstein inside the Prudential Center, Seton Hall in Texas. Game of the night in the sport.
Game of the night in the sport, and another massive opportunity, not just for Seton Hall, but for the Big East Conference, a league that is 77-21 out of the gate. You know what they say about that? Upward trajectory.
That's how you secure bids on Selection Sunday. Let's talk about this Seton Hall team. Coming into this year, we knew that Rhoden could be that mainstay for this team. What has jutted out to you beyond Rhoden?
The depth and the bevy of options that Kevin Willard has. Rhoden is without question an all Big East first-team caliber player, but there's so many different guys on this roster that can come to the forefront. And let it be known, Kadari Richmond is starting to find his stride in terms of table-setting perspective. The most physically imposing lead guard that Seton Hall has had since Isaiah Whitehead.
Tonight he will have to be on point because this Texas Longhorns team, one thing you know about any Chris Beard team, they're going to defend. On their 5-game winning streak, the Longhorns are only allowing 50 points per game. How do they get it done?
Well, they're going to have to get it done, obviously, I think, by cementing their role allocation. Texas, to me, still an unproven commodity nationally, John. They are on a 5-game winning streak, but the only time that Texas has played a high-caliber opponent was a road game at Gonzaga. Seton Hall, the first power conference opponent that the Longhorns have faced this season.
It makes for a really interesting game. You think about the Big East, you just brought up 77 and 21 on the season. And it's clear, John, we knew that Villanova and Connecticut would be up near the top of not just the conference, but in the top 15, 20 nationally. What about Providence, Marquette, and how about even earlier this week, a team that has really struggled, Butler winning in Norman? What does that say to you about the league?
Well, Butler, first off, has got to ask for good health for Christmas because they look more like an infirmary right now than a basketball team. Providence, to me, is the sleeper team in the Big East. Indiana transfer Al Durham has been sensational for the Friars. But to me, the story in this conference early is Shaka Smart and the marriage between him and Marquette. One great brand meeting another. And John, think about the resume right now for Shaka Smart and Marquette. A win last night at Kansas State. They've beaten Illinois. They've also beaten Ole Miss and West Virginia. To quote the late, great Jim Fossil, the head coach of the Giants, I'm shoving all my poker chips in the middle table. If Marquette beats UCLA on Saturday, pencil the Golden Eagles in for the NCAA tournament in 2022 in December.
And a little less important, but still, put a number next to their name on
They
Monday.
will be ranked if they win that game.
You ready for this tonight?
Does a one-legged duck swim in circles?
That's John Rothstein, baby, from CBS Sports. We'll take a quick break and be back to wrap things up on Shootaround from The Rock. Newark ahead of number 7 Texas and number 23 Seton Hall. You look at what the battle has been thus far, the Big East 4, the Big 12 3. That Butler win at Oklahoma, that to me comes off as a difference maker when you look at the score because the Dogs were a big underdog and Chuck Harris posted 26 points in that win. West Virginia edging UConn last night, one possession game that went down the wire in Morgantown. And don't you see the beauty of these non-conference challenges? Close games, true road atmospheres for the visitor, and for the home team a chance to get a marquee opponent in their building. Let's face it, the Texas Longhorns are not normally coming from Austin to play in Newark, New Jersey. Seton Hall gets them in their building tonight, and that is a beautiful thing that college basketball needs to be relevant this time of year. And relevant it is. The Big East Conference is just that, with that 77-21 record, and tonight, expect defense. This should be a war. Can Seton Hall find enough scoring beyond Rhoden? And for Texas, their role allocation really important to this game. You're talking about a team that has Timmy Allen, the 6'6" senior, who's led them. But will the real Marcus Carr, the Minnesota transfer, be able to deliver tonight? Courtney Ramey, Andrew Jones help complement that backcourt. For the Horns, they defend. But what's their offensive situation look like tonight? A sellout crowd awaits at the Rock. A sellout crowd. 6:30 Eastern Time, FS1. It'll be Joe Davis. It'll be Jim Jackson. You guys ready to go here?
Go Pirates! Horns down.
Horns down. I need you guys up one more time here. Come on now. This crowd's ready. Give me your best. Let's go Pirates. Let's go Pirates! Let's go Pirates! The Hall and the Horns tonight in Newark. Thanks for watching Big East Shootaround.